Hey Merfolk fans, I'm Joe. Thanks very much for joining me today. I'm here with round 3 of a modern friendly league. Let's go ahead and have a look at the opening hand. Looks good to me. Obviously we want to draw another land, but these are typically keeps. Opponent kept 7 as well. Let's see what we're playing against. Okay, Wooded Foothills, immediately cracked for a Stomping Ground, and a Suspended Search for Tomorrow. So it is some variation of Titanshift. Very, very difficult matchup. We really need to draw another land here. Don't get it. So immediately things looking really bad for us here. Cracks another Wooded Foothills. We're expecting something like a Farseek or a Sakura Tribe Elder. Opponent ramping on each of his first 2 turns. Take Vial up. Still hoping for another land. Don't quite get there yet, but we can Vial in a Silvergill and have another shot at drawing the land. Okay, so right on time. That was very fortunate. We have a number of options as to what we should play out here. I choose to go with Silvergill Adept just to draw more cards, have a better idea of what we're going to have to work with against this very difficult matchup. I revealed my Reejerey here, but with all these 2-drops in hand, it seems unlikely that I want to tick up AEther Vial yet, but possible because one of the few ways we can get through this maybe is with an explosive sort of Master of Waves situation. Okay, so, but it seems like leaving AEther Vial on 2 would be a good idea. Okay, so that was the Sweltering Suns. If you guys missed it, I clicked through it a little bit fast. So this guy has really had the nut draw, at least for this matchup. He went ramp turn 1, ramp turn 2, board wipe turn 3, setting me back quite a lot. Excuse me. And they also have ramp on turn 3, just for good measure. So I left it on 2, drew another land, which is pretty nice. Take full value out of our mana and play a Reejerey there. Here's a Valakut, and I assume there's going to be a Primeval Titan here. But no, there's a Farseek. 4 mana up means turn 4 Scapeshift possibly, and they have it. We didn't really have a fighting chance in this particular game. Opponent just steamrolled us. So note that they do have 8 lands on turn 4, which is unusual. That is absolutely the nut hand out of Scapeshift, because they ramped on all of their first 3 turns and had a land drop on turn 4. So they're going to get 7 mountains, which get 7 triggers, which does exactly 21 damage. So as soon as the opponent pointed all of the triggers at my face, I decided to scoop because I had seen enough. Okay, so far this is the most challenging matchup for us. Let's go ahead and see how game 2 went, and I'll show you guys the sideboarding plan. All right, back for game 2. Let's check out the sideboard real quick. Cards to take out in this matchup: 4 Harbingers. Bouncing a Primeval Titan is usually pretty bad. Sometimes these guys play Bloodbraid Elf. Bouncing a Bloodbraid Elf is pretty bad. So easy to take out the Harbingers. I take out all 4 Master of Waves. They're resistant to Lightning Bolt and things like a Braid, but they're super weak to Valakut triggers because Valakut is colorless, and a single Valakut trigger can kill Master of Waves. So took out all 4 Master of Waves, all 4 Harbingers, so 8 cards out. Going to bring in 4 Deprives, obviously the best card for us to bring in, 2 Echoing Truth, and 2 Kira. Now Kira, not super amazing in all situations against this deck, but in a spot where they are trying to pick our creatures off with Valakut triggers, Kira can provide some much needed protection and get us 1 extra attack step. So even though she's not sensational in the matchup, she's better than Harbinger and better than Master of Waves. So 4 Deprives, 2 Echoing Truths, 2 Kiras in. Again, I'm going to be bringing in a single Negate into my sideboard for my next few matches, next few leagues, and a Negate would actually be really useful in this matchup. So this is a little better than last game. We have 2 lands and AEther Vial, so we don't have to worry about hitting that second land. But the opponent kept 7 again, so Island Vial, opponent suspend, search for tomorrow again. Do draw a third land, that's excellent. Go Silvergill here, and Deprive. So hand is developing beautifully. The only thing that we have to be very careful about is sort of the turn 3 board wipe. So, okay, so Island Walk Lord. I mean, we could try to put him out with AEther Vial now and kind of bait the board wipe next turn, in which case we could deprive it. But if they have a bolt now, we get to give them a good target for that. I think the better play here is just to attack with the Silvergill Adept, and then probably just pass the turn. It means that they're probably not going to spend a board wipe on just a Silvergill Adept, but next turn we get to tick up AEther Vial to 3, and it's really good because we have a lot of 3-drops that we want to get into play. And we still have Deprive up, so I'm going to let the Search for Tomorrow resolve. It's totally possible that you could counter a ramp spell, but since we don't have so many counters in the deck, it just seems better to save it for really scary spells. Excuse me. So I'm going to Vial in the Lord here, tick AEther Vial up to 3. So land is decent. Now it's a little bit tricky here because I can go Reejerey with Vial, land, cast another Reejerey, untap a land, and leave up Deprive. However, that leaves a window where we don't have 2 mana up for Deprive when we cast the second Reejerey. So I think what I'm going to opt to do here, ultimately, is play it safe. Vial in Kira, leave up Deprive for 1 more turn, get in for 5 here with backup. Kira is protecting my creatures from bolts. Might catch the opponent off guard. He might think it's going to be a Reejerey or something. So even if he has bolt in hand, it's no good anymore. This is a sort of passive approach against a deck that we typically might want to put the pedal to the metal. Again, I could have Vialed in Reejerey, cast a Reejerey, untapped an island, and had Deprive up, so all my creatures would be 4/4s, swing for a bunch more. But I feel like leaving Deprive up is the best approach here. So the opponent just cracks a fetch land, takes 5. All right, and let's see what's happening this turn. So they go for Anger of the Gods here. So it's possible that Vialing in and casting a second Reejerey would have been correct there, but if he had a bolt, he could have dealt with one of the lords in response. Again, Kira wouldn't have been out in that situation, and then he could have angered away the rest of my board. Let's see. If I had done that Vial trick, no, Vial, Reejerey untaps a land. In response to the second Reejerey, the opponent could have bolted. Then it would have had Silvergill, Lord, Reejerey, and then going into their turn, I would have had Deprive up for this kind of a situation. So as it went, I'm not sure what the optimal line would have been, but I do get to Deprive this board wipe. I think it caught the opponent off guard because he sat and thought for like 5 or 10 seconds. Don't have lethal here, but it's getting close. So that just seals the deal. Here, with Kira up, I get to just do the play that I was talking about before. And it's still not lethal. I'm only putting 2 more power into my current attack, but the opponent chose to scoop it up there. So really solid game 2. Excellent draws on our side. So let's go ahead to game 3. Back for game 3. The opponent's going to be on the play. It's keepable. We really want to Deprive in the mix, but we've got creatures, Vial. Can't ask for much more than this. Okay, so no turn 1 suspended. Search for Tomorrow. That bodes well. Unfortunately, we drew another land. It's really not what we wanted to see. Opponent just goes and gets a forest. Interesting choice off of a fetch land. Could indicate that they're trying to keep mountains in their deck. I'm not quite sure why they would fetch that if they weren't going to use it on my turn. They should have gotten a tapped shock land. All right, so we're hoping that he doesn't have a Braid here. We'd like to develop our AEther Vial, and they have a Farseek. They get another Stomping Ground. All right, so we're going to tick this AEther Vial up. Phantasmal Image is interesting because we can copy a Primeval Titan if the game goes that way. So for this turn, I'm going to play the Mutavault because if it turns out that we want to play a Lord next turn, we've got a land to do that anyway. But if we want to attack with it and Vial something in, we'll at least have that option. So this turn we can cast the Silvergill, reveal one of the Lords, and draw another Lord. So actually, you know, we like to have 3 Lords because it can put us outside of anger range. Okay, so Core Tribe Elder, land, means that, oh man, Farseek. So they're absolutely going to have access to 6 mana next turn, even without another land drop. Okay, drew another land. So draws haven't been terrible this game, but we've definitely got more lands than we want. Play that land. I'm going to go ahead and just cast a Lord here. Swing in with the Silvergill, and if the opponent goes for... They're obviously going to sack Steve here. They got a Forest. Okay, let's just see what they're working with. Cinderglade. Still not a lethal Scapeshift yet, but they go for Sweltering Suns. It's a little bit rough. We're so close to being outside of the range of this thing. It's so important being on the play in Modern. Well, in any format, probably. So let that resolve. Oh, and the opponent went for the aggressive Scapeshift. Now, as I was just mentioning, it's not lethal yet, but it will put me down to 2 because it's going to be 6 triggers times 3 damage, which means that I'm going to take 18. Now, what this means is with a Valakut on the table and 6 mountains, any land drop, any land hitting the battlefield on their side, any mountain hitting the battlefield on their side is going to be lethal because I'll be at 2. So their deck has a lot of ways to make that happen. Obviously, it's got lands. It's got Farseek. It's got Search for Tomorrow. It's got Sakura Tribe Elder. There's so many lethal spells with the current board state. So let these triggers resolve. I'll go all the way down to 2. Things are looking pretty sketchy here. You guys know what my singular out is in this spot? Yes, it is Spreading Seas. So I need to turn off the opponent's Valakut. The fact that they went for Scapeshift right now makes me think that they have a way to trigger Valakut again and kill me. So if I can take them off of their Valakut, that land drop that they have in their hand will not kill me, and I'll have a chance to rebuild a board. I'm going to have access to... I mean, if we do the math real quick, I think I could swing for 9 next turn, right? Because Lord in now means 2 attackers next turn, and the Lord's going to buff once, buff again, so 3 buffs here, 3 buffs on the Lord. No, sorry, 2 buffs on the Lord means swinging for 5 and 4. So yeah, 9 next turn, so definitely 2-turn lethal. Hoping for Spreading Seas off the top of the deck. Because even it's likely that Deprive won't help us here, because if the opponent just has a land drop to make, then I can't counter that. But if they do have like a Farseek, then I could counter that. All right, leave the AEther Vial on 2. And I got one of the best top decks in my recent memory here, so go ahead and slam the Spreading Seas. Wait, what? That's not actually what I did, I don't think. At least that's not what I remember. Wow. No, oh my goodness. I don't even know how that happened. This is really funny, and it's a good reason to watch replays. This is so strange. I could have sworn I top-decked the Spreading Seas and put it onto the Valakut. So, opponent said ouch. And I think I said something about how lucky Merfolk needs to be. And then I played a Lord thinking that Valakut was neutralized. I can't understand how that happened. So when the opponent said ouch, it's actually making me think that maybe I targeted the wrong land or something. So Valakut is still live. They only need 5 mountains and then another. So I went into my next turn thinking that I had survived. The opponent plays another Valakut, but the first one's still live, and then he's going to play... What? What does he play? So it looks like my my replay sort of stopped there. He had a Sakura Tribe Elder in hand. Now, this is super strange. What I thought happened was I neutralized the first Valakut. As it turned out, what the opponent had in hand was a Sakura Tribe Elder, which would have gotten him the landfall that I was afraid of. But as it happened, he top-decked a second Valakut. Because I messed up, apparently, he didn't need to top-deck the second Valakut, but he should have needed to top-deck the second Valakut, and he did. So what a strange turn of events there. The opponent would have won, despite my miraculous top-deck, because he top-decked a second Valakut. But as it went, he didn't need to, because apparently I clicked on the wrong land. So, hopefully that was entertaining for you guys. I don't even know if it's necessary to apologize for the misplay, since it almost seems like MTGO is messing up here, and it seems impossible, but I guess that's what happened. Very interesting match. As I've mentioned a couple times, it's obviously one of our more difficult matchups, and he had me beat. So currently 2-1 in the league, beat Mono Green Tron, and then I beat Blue White Control, lost to Titanshift. Let's go ahead into the 4th round. Hopefully things will go a little bit better for us, and can finish the league on a positive note. Please leave any comments you might have down below. Let me know your thoughts on the matchup. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Please check out my Patreon page if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.